morning, Sarasota Unitarian Universalists. All right. Please rise in body and or spirit for our opening hymn, Circle Round for Freedom. We will sing it through twice.
For freedom, circle round for peace, for all of us in prison, circle for release, circle for the planet, circle for these souls, for the children of our children. Keep the circle whole, circle round for freedom, circle round for peace, for all of us in prison, circle for release, circle for the planet, circle for each soul, for the children of our children. Keep the circle whole.
Thank you. Good morning. My name and welcome. My name is the Reverend J. Wolin. I'm the settled minister here at the Unitarian Universalist of Sarasota. I want to apologize. We accidentally carried over Becky Vander Bogert's name from, I think, a few weeks ago, so that is why she was listed there. We want to extend a warm welcome to all of our visitors, whether here in person or streaming online on YouTube. And we invite all of our visitors to participate in any of our events here at the Unitarian Universalists of Sarasota. We welcome you to find out more about us and Unitarian Universalism by registering on our virtual guest book, which you can find via a link on the homepage of our website, uusrq.org. If you're here in person as well, you can sign up at the visitors table right outside the door there at the welcome table. And if you sign up, you will get our weekly newsletter that shows all the events. And truthfully, you need to read the newsletter. There are so many things going on, I can't even keep up with all of them. And so to find something meaningful for you, please read the newsletter or go to our website, find out all the amazing events that are happening here. You'll also, if you sign up, get sent Zoom links to some of our virtual programming as well. And then, of course, we invite you to coffee and conversation after the service today. We look forward to getting to know each other. We have one special announcement today, that on Saturday, February 21st, we will have a celebration for our stewardship campaign, Meet the Moment, Fund Our Future, which we are hoping to raise enough money to hire a second minister, so I don't have a heart attack by the end of next year. So we'll enjoy some wine, tea, hors d'oeuvres, and as well, we will have some great music that night as well. So please join us. I think we're about 70% of our goal. And again, I don't know why some people just love to wait till the last minute to pledge, but you don't have to. We will love you at any time that you pledge. So, and I know some of us are procrastinators, but you know how you get over that? By doing the thing that you know you're going to do anyway. So there are cards, there'll be a table outside. You can go to our website and you can pledge online. Even if, midnight tonight, if you decide today's the day I'm going to do it, you can pledge online so that we can reach our 100% goal to help us achieve our mission and vision as a congregation. And then we celebrate, right? I will even do karaoke if we hit our goal. I can't believe I just said that out loud. Okay. So today, some of you have seen me do karaoke. Bruce Springsteen is my personal favorite. Anyway, today, we are very lucky to have with us, he's here once a year, Hermann Berndt on the cello, right? So please give a warm welcome. Just beautiful, thank you. Our opening reading today is from the Reverend Mel Hooper. We can't change the past, but we can learn from it and build on it. We can't control the future, but we can shape it and enhance the possibilities for our children and our grandchildren. We can't discern in the present the fullness of our actions and their impact, but we can become pioneers in our time, exploring fully the crevices and cracks where knowledge and new insight might be found. We can explore our spectrum of relationships and confront our complacency and our certainty about the way things are. We can dare to face ourselves in our entirety, to understand our pain, to feel the tears, to listen to our frustration and confusion, and to discover the new capacities and capabilities that will empower and transform us. In the spirit of the pioneer, let us now go forth. And in that spirit, we shall light our chalice as a symbol to light our way forward. Please join me in affirming our value of justice, which will be on the screen behind me.
We work to be diverse, multicultural, beloved communities where all thrive. We covenant to dismantle racism and all forms of systemic oppression. We support the use of inclusive democratic processes to make decisions within our congregations, our association, and society at large.
Good morning. Today's story is Trying by Kobe Yamada and illustrated by Elise Hurst. How do you do that? Let's see the picture. There we go. How do you do that? I didn't realize I had said it out loud, but the sculptor looked over and replied, "You simply do it." Oh no, I could never do that. How do you know? He asked. Oh, I just know. Confused, I walked away. He must be joking, I thought. But as I left, I couldn't help wondering what it would be like to create something so incredible. When I returned, the sculptor looked over at me and said, "Well, how's your sculpture coming along?" I'm just here to watch." "You know, the best way to give your talent an opportunity is to try," he responded. "I'd rather just watch. I can't mess things up if I just watch." "Yes," he nodded. "If you do nothing, it feels safe, but everything stays the same. If you do nothing, there is less to experience, less to love, and less to learn. The fear of failing is the scariest part, and it stops most people from sharing. The only way to get where you want to go is to take a step in that direction, and the best way to do that is to begin." Well, it was all I could think about. Even as I slept, I dreamt of creating beautiful things. I was excited to get started, but as I was working, I realized that something was wrong. With every strike, I felt a little more deflated. With every blow, my disappointment grew. This was not turning out the way I had imagined. Why did I think I could do it? Why had I let myself care so much? Well, the next time I saw the sculptor, he asked about my work, and I told him it was no good and I had quit. "Why would you do that?" he asked. "Because it feels awful to want something so badly and then just be disappointed." Yes, disappointment hurts, but failure is temporary, and in many ways, it's necessary to show us how something can't be done, which means we're a little closer to finding out how it can. When you first tried to walk, you fell, but you picked yourself back up and you tried again. You were willing to fail over and over and over, but that's why you succeeded. And how do I know this? Because you're standing right in front of me. I had tried and I had failed. Now he was asking me to try again? What good would that do? I had already proven I couldn't do it. But if I was honest, I believed I could. So even though I worried that I wasn't good enough, I decided to try again. I worked and I worked and I worked some more. And while I could see it was a little better, it still wasn't what I wanted it to be. I stormed up to the sculptor. See, I told you I wasn't any good, and this proves it. Are you happy now? Yes, he replied, I am happy. It's good to see you sculpting. But it's terrible. I don't even know what I'm making anymore. You're making progress, he explained. I see talent emerging. I see risks being taken. I see courage. I see caring. I see perseverance. Yes, I see much progress indeed, and I hope you will keep trying. So I tried again and again and again. And as I stepped back and I looked at my work, I had to admit, I wish it was better. I went to talk to the sculptor, and he asked me to go for a walk. He said, I know it can be hard when things don't turn out the way that you had hoped, but be proud of your failures. I know I am, every one of them. I can't imagine you ever failing. He laughed. More times than you can count, or I can count. But each time you fail, you get a little smarter, you get a little braver, you get a little stronger. Because the truth is, we are all failures. The dreamers, the doers, the creators. Being a failure means you have loved something. You cared. It means you stepped forward and didn't hold back. You tried. And that's why I brought you here. These are my friends. These are my failures. And I'm grateful for every single one of them because they helped me become who I am today. And I'll tell you a secret. I'm now much closer to the end of my life than the beginning. And time passes whether we have the courage to do something good and worthwhile or we don't. It's been years since he's been gone, but I never forget the conversations or what he taught me. When we make it safe to fail, we make it safe to succeed. How do I do that? The end. So this book, thank you. This book has so many nuggets of wisdom that I hope that you will ponder on them. And we must try in order to succeed in creating a loving community here where everyone is seen and valued, heard, and supported on their life's journey. But to do so requires each of us to give of our time and talents, not just our money. So many of our congregational leaders are to the point where they can no longer do their leading. And it's time for others to bring new energy and new ideas. And it takes courage and grace to give those willing to step up, to fail, to collectively learn, and to collectively repair. For when we make it safe to fail, we make it safe to succeed. So I encourage you to come see me in the courtyard after the service if you're looking for ways to share your time and talents. And I'm inviting any children and youth to join me and Miss Kristen in the West Wing for a lesson on resilience through humor. Thank you.
Namaste. I'm Reina H.C. Phair, a member of the Worship Service Committee, here today to share with you the magic and magnificence of Maya. Maya Angelou was an American author, actress, screenwriter, dancer, poet, and civil rights activist. This prolific woman was the first best-selling Black woman author. Angelou received more than 30 honorary doctoral degrees during her 50-year career. In the following poem, Still I Rise, she offers a message of strength and encouragement for African American women specifically, and all women who struggle in a patriarchal system. She also introduces a tribute to the resilience of not only slaves, but of human beings everywhere who have known suffering, betrayal, and injustice. Still I rise. You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still, like dust, I'll rise. Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? 'Cause I walk like I've got oil wells pumping in my living room? Just like suns and moons with the certainty of tides, just like hopes springing high, still I'll rise. Did you want to see me broken? Bowed head and lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like teardrops, weakened by my soulful cries? Does my sassiness upset you? Don't you take it awfully hard, 'cause I laugh like I've got gold mines digging in my own backyard. You may shoot me with your words. You may cut me with your eyes. You may kill me with your hatefulness, but still, like air, I'll rise. Does my sexiness upset you? Does it come as a surprise that I dance like I've got diamonds at the meeting of my thighs? Out of the huts of history's shame, I rise. Up from a past that's rooted in pain, I rise. I'm a black ocean, leaping and wide, welling and swelling, I bear in the tide. Leaving behind nights of terror and fear, I rise. Into a daybreak so wondrously clear, I rise. Bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave, I am the dream and the hope of the slave. I rise. I rise, I rise.
As we go into a moment of silence, let us contemplate the ways that we can try and rise ourselves. So I remember the first time I ever felt empowered. When I was a young child, every Sunday my family would gather at my grandparents' apartment for bagels, cream cheese, white fish, and lox. And one Sunday morning, I picked up the knife to cut the bagel myself. And my mother, I was maybe 5, 6 years old, my mother, shocked and trying to protect her sweet, innocent child, said something like, "Let me cut it. If you cut it that way, you're going to cut off your finger and you'll bleed to death." And I remember the steely, even today, I remember the steely-eyed look I got and the resolve that I had in my heart, and I responded, "I'm going to cut the bagel. And if I cut my finger and bleed to death, then so be it." And my mother stood upright, and at least within my memory, there was a look of pride in her eyes. And she said, "Okay then, cut the bagel." Now I have to tell you, I've never cut a bagel so carefully in my life, because everybody was watching it after this. At a young age, though, I learned to stand up for myself. And my parents, even in this small way, and this was very much their parenting style, empowered me despite the risks. It was an act of trust that I would be responsible. So empowerment means trusting others to make decisions for themselves, to succeed, to fail, to rise again, and to learn from both those successes and failures. Empowerment is not just a management strategy. It is a theological claim that invites each person's full participation. Now, often empowerment must be intentionally allowed. So in the bagel example, right, my parents had the power, right, and could have stopped me, but didn't. And this mindset impacts my vision of congregational life as well. By empowering teams to fulfill our mission and vision, we allow them to make decisions for their own self-determination. And then we use our power to support their efforts. Right? It's not easy. I admit, it is not easy to refrain from imposing our will sometimes, especially when we have the authority to do so. But rather, we need to guide, nurture, and support each other, right? Ultimately, people, though, must take the initiative and empower themselves. It's up to us to make that true for us as a congregation. It's up to us to provide this environment that allows others to find their own way, to try, as the book said, and maybe even to fail, as long as that result of that failure is to learn and then to use that knowledge to succeed in the future. This is true for us as individuals. It is true in regard to the teams of our congregation. It is true in regard to our congregation. And looking back on our long history of Unitarian Universalism, it is true for us as an association as well. So a little example. Back in the 1960s, the Unitarian Universalist Association had a series of events that is now called the Black Empowerment Controversy. It's really a fascinating history to look back on and learn from, although it was quite jarring at the time that it happened. As we look at our association as a whole, we are, by and large, majority racially white in our membership. Though never a large percentage, there was a time when we had more people of color in our association than we do now. Unitarian Universalists have, throughout our history, been allies to people of color. We were leaders in the abolition of slavery in the 1800s, allies in the civil rights movement in the 1960s. And I think, as I previously said here, in 1965, we had more UU ministers heed the call from Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King to march in Selma for voting rights than any other denomination. But an interesting thing happened when African Americans in our association tried to become more empowered within our association. Now, this is a long and complex story. There's about an hour documentary on it if you want the details. But I only have time to give you the highlights here. So after racial rioting in 1967 throughout America, African Americans within our association formed a group called the Black Affairs Council, known as BAC, in pursuit of African American self-determination within the association. And they demanded $250,000 annually for 4 years, 12% of the UUA's budget. So you can imagine, as with any radical change, as UUs like, there was significant debate. There were debates about whether identity groups should even be allowed to have meetings alone to determine their needs. Some people felt that every meeting should be open to everyone. There was a debate about the issue of plurality via self-determination, as proposed by Bach, or an integrationalist approach proposed by a competing group called BAWA, or Black and White Action, which was jointly led by both African Americans and whites. At one point, proponents of BAC actually commandeered the microphones at General Assembly, and thereafter, when their demands were initially not met, about half of General Assembly walked out in protest in support of BAC. Our General Assemblies are so mild compared to back then. In the end, General Assembly voted to fund BAC $250,000 a year, and BAWA was given nothing. During the first year, there were allegations of misappropriation of funds, and members within the UUA called for an audit. It was pointed out that they had never audited any other group that they had given money to. And of course, I'm going to say this as a former auditor. I don't think it's I think it's a good idea to audit how groups that you give money to spend the money that you give them. However, we do have to wonder what the impetus, obviously, of this new policy was. After the first year, severe budget shortfalls led the UUA to propose spreading payments to BAC over 5 years versus the original 4-year time period. BAC objected to this, and eventually, with other African Americans, left the association. Now, it is much more complex than just this, but this is the 30,000-foot overview. So what lessons can we learn from this? First, know the facts before making judgments. It's clear that often our emotions lead us to only hear a part of a story from just one perspective. It's like the Zen story of the 6 blind men touching different parts of the elephant, and each one coming up with a different conclusion about the nature of the elephant. Sometimes such issues will never, ever be entirely clear. We tend to wash large groups of people with a broad stroke and forget just how complex issues are. In this instance, Bach had a radical reputation. Not only previously hearing the hyperbole, it was interesting studying the event in detail to get a more well-rounded vision of the group. To some degree, they were radical, like taking over the microphones at GA and non-negotiable demands. But in reading their documents, I also found some well-thought-out philosophies, planning, and some very interesting and creative programs that were developed with the monies that were given in that first year. I also found that although their core group were people of color, they worked as a whole within a larger group that included white people throughout the process. So I think this purported image of there being separatists were a little overstated. Words can be used to define people in ways that can be damaging, right? Let us be mindful in all things, but especially mindful in our words. How we speak to each other with respect and compassion sets the tone for how we live together, right? How we act together, and more importantly, how welcoming we are to people who are new to our community, who overhear our conversations, right? One way that you have an opportunity to show respect and compassion in action is through the act of generosity as we take our offering. Please be as generous as you can. For those online or those here on your cell phone, there is a link to the QR code, or there's a link to in the YouTube video, or the QR code in your order of service. Let this sacred time begin. If there is, the words of Frederick Douglass, if there is no struggle, there is no progress. Those who profess to favor freedom and yet deprecate agitation are people who want crops without plowing up the ground. They want rain without the thunder and the lightning. They want the ocean without the awful roar of its many waves. This struggle may be a moral one, or it may be a physical one, or it may be a moral and physical one, but it must be a struggle. Power concedes nothing without demand. It never did, and it never will. Freedom is not a gift. Freedom is won through relentless effort. And now, once more, the gift of music from Hermann Berndt. Thank you, Hermann. So earlier I shared the history of the Black empowerment controversy. It was a pivotal moment in our association's journey towards understanding what it truly means to empower others. And I want to continue to explore what we learned from those events and how those lessons shape our vision today. These events showed the need for engagement and compromise. The lack of communication from the UUA and BAC's uncompromising position led to polarization, led the association to not dealing with the issue of race for a long time. However, as James Baldwin wrote, and I quote, "Not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it is faced." Now, I think it's an important spiritual practice to understand and become more aware of how issues of race affect all of us. I encourage you to connect with our racial justice team, which offers opportunities for education and engagement. They are every week at the social justice table right outside the Lexow wing. Education and engagement are critical to the success of any relationship. But from a theological position, I think these events showed a clear division between plurality and assimilation. The individuals involved in Bawa had a different philosophical perspective on dealing with racism than those in Bach. And the question raised was, do we allow there to be different ways of being, of different religious thought, to coincide peacefully with each other? Or must there always be a general agreement and consensus? And I see these events in the 1960s leading us as an association to realize our need to be open to new ways of being in community and new ways of being with each other. And I think we as an association learned from this experience when in the 1970s, women asked for more power in our association. And throughout the years, when first our gay and lesbian siblings looked for ways to be more self-determining in our congregational life, and more recently, gender non-binary and transgender people being given the feeling to be more empowered. And I know reviewing our past can be difficult sometimes. Some would just want to ignore unpleasant parts. But there is a better way to learn from our past so we can do better in the future. And so in 2015, the UUA committed to raising $5 million for Black Lives of Unitarian Universalism, not just to make good on the promises broken in the 1960s, but to create a new vision going forward. They created the Mosaic Hub as an online resource for building intentional, diverse communities. They created educational curricula like widening the circle of concern and multicultural welcoming. They developed leadership retreats for both lay leaders and religious professionals of color. We learned from our past mistakes, opening our hearts, opening our minds, and learning how to allow those without power to have power. We learned to share power. And in a very real theological view, we learned that by sharing power, there is more than enough power to go around for everybody. We learned that we are more powerful when we learn to share power with others. And together we are more powerful than we could ever be alone. And that's why it's so important to build a strong, progressive religious community so more people can learn to be empowered, so more people can understand what it means to answer the call of love, as thousands of UUs did as they joined others in Minnesota to protest the abusive ICE practices last month. Another lesson I learned is the need for visionary leadership. The book of Proverbs, verse 29:18 states that where there is no vision, the people cast off restraint. Now you as a congregation created our vision. Now I can preach about it. We can create programs and governance to support it, but ultimately you will define it with your actions. Our actions determine whether we implement our vision, which states that you created. We aspire to be a multi-generational, multicultural community known for advancing justice, where all persons can find belonging, spiritual growth, and support on life's journey. All of us can make this real together. So one last lesson I learned I want to share is that we learn from these experiences was our need as an association to learn and refine our governance. Right? Uncertainty about authority and decision-making fueled confusion and mistrust. And this is just as true on a congregational level. And so your board is currently reviewing the congregational policies with the goal that they align with our vision to empower the programs of the congregation to carry out the mission and vision of the congregation. That means decisions are made at a team level, that the board creates boundaries within which teams can operate, but teams do not have to ask permission about every decision that they make. Together, trusting each other, we are stronger than we can ever be alone. So I ask you to think about how you can be empowered in your congregational life, or as importantly, how you can help others to be empowered in their congregational lives. By empowering others, we are sharing our power, allowing others to develop their own power, and that just makes us stronger and better. We are trusting others to use that power wisely. And we are letting go of our need to control every decision that could possibly affect us and our community. I know it's not easy, but it's important. It's natural to worry, but we cannot let worry prevent us from moving forward. In my life, I have found the one common factor that leads individuals and organizations to fulfilling their mission and vision is the willingness to take the necessary risk at the opportune time. Right now, not every risk leads to success, but there can never be success without some element of risk as well as some element of sacrifice. So we want to be prudent. We don't want to cut off our finger and bleed to death, right? But we cannot refuse to pick up the knife because the bagel will not cut itself. So I invite you to trust your teams working to fulfill the congregation's mission and vision, and more importantly, engage in the life of the congregation so that you too may feel the power of the life-giving force of empowerment. May it be so. Please rise in body and or spirit for our closing hymn, Come and Go With Me. pick up the knife, cut the bagel, do the work. You've learned the lessons of history. We have the vision. Our future is ours to create. You have each other. Go forth. Be empowered to make it real. Trust and empower others. And we will continue involved that in ways you cannot imagine. Please join me now in extinguishing the chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of commitment, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Thank you all for your presence here today. Go forth, be empowered.